Hello, Magical Mummas, and welcome to episode 22 of the Magical Mothering podcast. I'm Dania Foster, elemental energetics therapist and nurturer of mothers who are struggling with disconnect whilst raising highly sensitive kids. Today, I'm talking about calling in your favorite self. And if you enjoy listening to my stories and philosophies, don't forget to click subscribe so you can get an update on my next episode and share it with your friends. I'd also love to invite you to circle with me in my online circle collective, where I hold space for our magical mothering journey in a sacred container every full and new moon. Together, we can share our stories and what's really going on in our worlds, and you can find that at daniafoster.com/circle. So first off, I'd just like to take this moment to thank you all for being here with me throughout the turbulence of the years that have been before us. We've just emerged from a 5-year in numerology, and something that I've learned from 5 energy is change and upheaval can feel really conflicting, uprooting, ungrounding, and this is a massive test in remaining safe in what you know to be your center. We need our center in these times. We are now entering a 6 year, and the 6 has always resonated with me. I see the symbol of the 6 as a pregnant belly being nurtured. It's the energy of slow, nourishing, grounding energy. I've in the past tuned into a word of the year, but at the end of last year, I couldn't even remember what my word for 2021 was. So we've really changed who we were is no longer relevant in these times. And when I energetically tune into this year, I feel that we don't really need to fight anymore. We've all made our choices and we simply need to stand in them. The 6 is a year of relationships, and not just romantic relationships, but all relationships in general, forming new friendships and alliances and building new communities. If we nurture each other and hold ourselves gently, we have been through a collective dark night of the soul. And wherever you stand now, you have aligned with what's best for you and your family in this moment. So stay in your center by nourishing your roots and the community that you're presented with, that you're surrounded by. And after the summer solstice, and now the calendar has turned to 2022, we've begun a new solar cycle, a new trip around the sun. The sun represents the masculine force of energy, the action, the source of purpose and direction, highlighting our ambition. Now, a resolution is to correct a problem, but I'm not a problem and neither are you. We are beings, and in that we are constantly in motion, and it's not a linear motion of from one point we are less and we constantly move in an upwards trajectory of enough until we reach the point of approved. This energy often triggers our search for purpose and what should be investing your energy into this year, and where are you going, and what can you do to serve? So we've been conditioned to always be searching for more of ourselves. Just as God, divine source, however you meet them, has been removed from being in the trees, in the flowers, in the leaves, and every living creature, and yes, even within you, and placed in an unattainable sky. You have placed your highest self out of reach in an ethereal realm that is outside of you, and our growth is allowed to be messy. To truly being in growth, we will make mistakes and we will contradict ourselves and we will move one way and then realize that it doesn't feel right. So we'll try something else. So no, I won't be making resolutions this year. I am on a mission every day to embrace my whole self with divine, nourishing love. Radical self-acceptance is what I am endeavoring to model for my children, and we must be okay with our wants and needs changing, or we will get stuck in misalignment simply because we're upholding an integrity to an old version of self. Even if that was a higher self version within you that guided you at one point, your mission is allowed to change and be flexible, and you're allowed to quit. You're allowed to change who you thought you would be. So what do we do instead is we can work with this solar energy to lean into our purpose without the stagnation of strict rules and regulations of expectations that we assign ourselves. So I refer to this as calling in our favorite selves. So you may have had glimpses of her in your past self, or perhaps it was a vision of who you could possibly be, caught up in the traps of, if only I applied myself. And we separate that from reality by our self-doubts getting in the way, putting it out of reach for a variety of reasons that are really individual to your own conditioning, your ancestral stories, and other past realm contracts, past life realms. But we get to that feeling by connecting with one question: how do you want to feel? And this is why I do love vision boarding, or writing out journal entries of your favorite or ideal days, surrounding yourself with beautiful oils and scents that represent how your soul feels, and meditating on the way that you move your body when you're aligned. How do you hold your head? How do you walk into a room when you are aligned with your favorite self? Your favorite self is ever expanding. Your favorite self is purpose fueled with fire in her belly and is fluid in the moment, in that what she wants in one moment is different to the next. She is present and embodied. Every moment offers you a choice to align with her deeper. The interwoven energy of the masculinity of purpose, direction, and ambition is upheld by the power of habit and aligned worth, or self-confidence. But for a long time, it's been missing the presence of the feminine embrace of imperfection, acceptance of self, and the fluid nature of following the passion through the sacral center. An opening to this is how I hold the line through magical mothering, returning to it over and over, and meeting the resistance with love every time. So thank you again for joining me, Dania Foster, for this Magical Mothering podcast. You can check out all of the show notes for this at daniafoster.com/blog/episode 22. And if you would like a more intimate container to work with me on becoming the grounded guide for your child, then please send me an email, dania@daniafoster.com. I'd love to be your guide for your own magical mothering journey. If you'd like to know more, please visit my website, daniafoster.com. And the invitation stands. Come circle with me. We have an online magical mothering collective for new moon and full moon circles. So come spend some time. Lots of love to you on your journey.